there, it's Kevin with the Rogue Market here with an update video for October for products that I think are good buys at the distribution level. Now this video is going to be more geared towards my patrons who can take advantage of these deals. If you're interested in joining our Patreon, what I do is I sell products at cost, and so the prices quoted here is something you can buy directly from me at cost, and you can save some money based on what it's going for on the TCG market price. Now, again, this video is more geared towards the patrons to take advantage of those videos. However, I hope that you can find this video interesting regardless if you are a patron or not. So I do a little bit of a spreadsheet over for my patrons that I show some sales that are going on and some drops, some things you can take advantage of. I've added this little section called Hot Buys. I'll try to update it weekly, bi-weekly, or whenever I find a product that I think is interesting. So currently these aren't limited. These are things that I can get from distributors right now. And there's actually a decent little spread. And that's the trend that I've been seeing lately is stores aren't losing money on TCG Player anymore on all products. There are some caveats. There are some products that are still in stock at distribution level that stores are making money on. So it leads me to believe a few things. First of all, we're in a hot market. We're definitely not in the absolutely soul-crushing overprinting era of the 2021, 2022, 2023 era where everyone just lost so much money because Wizards of the Coast just printed, and more printed. And then stores sold at loss on TCG Player, and there were way too many people selling on TCG Player. That was the other conclusion I'm coming to, is I think that a lot of these soulless cash flow basement seller type things that plague this industry are gone now. And so what we're starting to see is more brick and mortars that can that of course are not going to use TCG Player if they're not going to be able to make any sort of it just doesn't make sense at that point. And so we're seeing some of these products that still exist at distribution level but aren't really the focal point of products. You don't see things like Bloomburrow on here, even though there is a good spread for even things like Bloomburrow and Dustmorn and Lost Caverns Ixalan that are still in stock and they're having decent margins on TCG Player. These are some of the older products that have recovered very good, and distributors haven't increased them, or they're still even available from Wizards of the Coast. I'm not sure exactly how that pipeline works. If Wizards of the Coast has a warehouse somewhere that distributors can buy from that is not necessarily in print, but they still have some, and so distributors still are like, okay, we can sell at this price until Wizard gives us the last call of when we can't, order these anymore. And so they keep them still low, even if they are have a decent spread over at TCG Player. So anyway, I've rambled off enough with my explanations here. Let's get into the juicy stuff. So the first one that I like is the Brothers War Collector Boosters. So these are going for about looks like $235. If we look at the last one sold on TCG Player, it was for $235, and had some other ones in the $230s. And a week ago, they were going in the $220s. So this is a collector booster that is low supply too. With 141 that are left. And this is super low for collector boosters. And in the last 3 months, 83 of them have been sold. I really like this set because there are serialized cards in the Brothers War Collector Boosters. So any one of these products that has serialized cards, I think are going to outpace their counterparts that don't have serial cards. Now, without biases here, I hate serials cards. I don't know why people like little numbers. But what I found so interesting when I was in Moldova is there were a lot of license plates. So this is like a Soviet thing. So anywhere in Eastern Europe, or especially like the Soviet places like Ukraine or Russia or Moldova, is license plates on cars. If you have a single digit or a double digit or even a triple digit or runs of numbers like 333, people pay tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars to have that on their license plate. And I think that is the most ridiculous waste of money in the history of wasting money. But they use it as like a status. And maybe it's just that maybe I'm not neurotypical when it comes to what regular humans find as like a status symbol or what they choose to spend their money on. But I thought that was the stupidest thing when I was told that that's why we'd see these. We were walking around, we'd see this car, and the person I was with would point out, I'm like, that person paid probably $40,000, and it was just like a few numbers that to me were pretty random, but it was low. It was like a three numbers, like a 417, for example, something like that. And they even that license plate was sold for tens of thousands of dollars. So just because I have a bias that I would never do something like that, or I'd never buy a collector booster because it's a serialist card, obviously I'm the outlier here. And people like serialist card. They like to feel special. They like to feel like they have something that is, different from the normal out there. And so any collector booster that has serialized, I think, is going to age well. This also has cards in its artifact slot that I think are going to be sought after. The schematic art and the kind of they have the retro arts too, don't they, in this? I believe they do. Or maybe I'm thinking of the wrong set. But I think that these suckers will be sought after as well in the future. And collector boosters, even though Brothers War was during a time where this particular collector booster got more printings than I believe New Phyrexia, or maybe just New Phyrexia sold out quicker. But the Brothers War did seem to have a huge print run, or maybe got that extra print run that some of the other sets around this time period didn't. However, I still don't think that's going to hurt this from recovering long term. And already you can see the spread. If I can get this for $200 at distributors, there's one distributor at 210 and there's one distributor at 200 right now for the Brothers War. So one's a little more bullish on it, and the other one hasn't adjusted up. But originally these were like 185, I believe, and now collector boosters are about 200 on average from distributor for newer sets. So we've already had that increase. And another thing I like about all old collector boosters is when you increase the price of newer collector boosters, it just makes older collector boosters naturally go up in price as people will start to match the older product with the newer product. We've seen that time and time again when booster boxes went up from $50 to $65, older ones went up from $50 to $65. We're going to see it with other games that have increased their cost too. It's just the way that it happens and collector boosters are different from going from draft to play. We've seen increase of set and draft from older sets just because now they look more reasonable compared to play boosters. But collectors are one for one. They're still basically the same product from Brothers War as we have with the newer collector boosters that just came out from Dustmorn. So I am really, really liking Brothers War collector boosters. And as you can see, there's already a decent spread between the collector's boosters buying at distributor level for 200 and the TC market at 235. Next up that I like is the Lord of the Rings set boosters. I am so surprised that these are still going for 185 because multiple distributors have these back in stock down to, what do I say, 150. And this is me quoting after all of the fees associated. So all distributors have like credit card processing fees, shipping fees, handling fees, and then there are I have PayPal fees included in this too because if I collect money from people, I have to get feed on it. So this is quoting after the price. So if you are a store, you can probably see this. Oh, Kevin, you can get this for a little bit cheaper. Yeah, I understand that, not without incorporating all the fees into the structure here. So right now it costs me about $150 out the door to get a Lord of the Rings set booster box, and they're going for 185 on TCG Player. So the last ones have been selling 183, 183, 183, and consistently selling. And this did get a massive restock. I don't know if it's a quote-unquote reprint. Again, I don't know exactly how that pipeline works with Wizards of the Coast, if they have a massive warehouse somewhere where they allow distributors to order, and that hasn't been depleted and hasn't really caused like an actual reprint. However, there was announcement for all the distributors that they had this back in stock, and now checking the distributors, this is back in stock. And there seems to be high quantities of this at the moment in all of those distributors. So it is surprising that there is such a spread for a set that's available to order right now from distributors. So I'll be a little bit cautious on this. I think that a lot of these stores that are putting these up are just realizing, like you can see, there's 213 available, 369 sold in 3 months. So by going by just the rough numbers here, these will be sold out in the next 3 months. Only 4 have been selling per. So if you do 90 days times 4, yep, that will definitely evaporate the current supply of the set boosters. And this, I believe, does anyone know in the comment section if there is if we had any info of when Wizards of the Coast has the rights to actually sell the Lord of the Rings or the so what I'm assuming is there will be I'm thinking there's a 2-year window on these products. We've seen Warhammer, I think, finally rotate out of where they're going to be doing restocks of Warhammer, and that's why we've seen the Warhammer Commander decks go nuts. But I think Lord of the Rings still has eligibility for maybe one more year. So I'd be a little bit cautious on this because there isn't a lot of things to get excited about for Lord of the Rings besides the One Ring and Orcish Bowmasters. It's just surprising that this continues to sell. And coming from a store owner, the casuals eat this up. I get randos that don't really buy a lot of Magic the Gathering product. They come in and buy a lot of this particular product. Now, I'm eating crow because I didn't think that this particular IP would sell better than just a Magic set. And boy, was I wrong. Like, this is just, people are willing to pay a premium. The non-Magic players, people that just want cards, they're like, oh, I'll take some. So it's almost like if Lord of the Rings were to come out with just a regular trading card. This is just better because of the utility that Magic provides, or the name brand that Magic provides. People can still collect the cards that just want Lord of the Ring cards. And so it almost gives it even that much more collectability / utility for it being an IP that people want to actually buy. Typically, trading cards, just I won't touch them. Like, they come out with a Marvel or a Lord of the Rings trading card a game like every year, and it's, or not even game, just particular trading cards, and there's thousands of them out there, and they all fail. But if you match the utility of Magic and the branding of this highly popular, they seem to do well. So I know we're gonna have a Marvel set that's gonna come out, and I'm sure all sorts of other shenanigans of IPs are gonna enter into the Magic universe. But I was gonna say be cautious about this, but from my own experience, the more they release this, it just continues to be eaten up. In fact, that's why I still think that last year had such dismal sales on everything not Lord of the Rings, is all the money was pushed into Lord of the Rings. So as far as like cards themselves, cards particular, I think that it's incredibly oversaturated with the amount of Lord of the Rings cards that are out there. However, sealed or just the booster boxes are still really good pickups because they do sell and people continue to buy them, which is just crazy. Alrighty, so on to the next one. This is Innistrad Double Feature. Now, there currently isn't a spread between Innistrad Double Feature. I wanted to show it because the supply of this is very, very low, and there's only one distributor that has it left, and it is 165. So you can see that TCG Player's about 165 is the low. And so, yes, you could go right on TCG Player and buy this, maybe wait for a bonus buck sale and save money that way. Or I'm just bringing this to attention because I was doing some research on the cards, and these actually do sell. A lot of these singles, especially in this area between the $5 range of things like Shipwreck Marshes. If you go down to like a lot of the uncommons and commons of the like Considers and Reckless Impulses, these all have value in the Innistrad Double Feature versions of them, and they do sell. They even if it's like one a day or two a day, they do sell. And let's just click on one of these ones. Let's go to the Voice of the Blessed here, and we'll go to the TCG Player mid, and you can see they one average sold one per day. There's only 141 left in stock of all the current quantities of them, and they sell. There was one that sold yesterday for $3. And so when you just do a simple amount of, these are expensive. I mean, you get 36 packs, I believe, or do you only get 24? Hopefully it's not 24 for now. Before I misquote, wasn't this twofold? Like the price, people were complaining about the price because it was literally just two sets mashed together. And was there less packs? I can't remember off the top of my head. Does it say here? Oh yeah, it is only 24 packs. So yeah, maybe the EV isn't there, as I was saying. But with the lack of supply that is on the market for the singles and the lack of supply in the sealed, this is just, it's the kind of long tail theory here. This is not a product that has a lot of supply in the scope of things. It never got a massive restock. It wasn't well received when this was. It was highly anticipated. There were a lot of pre-orders for this product, but when it came out, everyone was so mad that this was basically just grayscale of two sets that were already overprinted. However, the card sell, there seems to be collectability about it. You have to wait, but the EV is there for the set when you just have tons and tons of cards in the $3, $4, $5, $6 range, and you can even get up to some expensive. Ignore this Glorious Sunrise. This is just a bug here. It's not going for $151.90. But even like Meat Massacre, a few of them sold. I looked today. A few of them sold today around this price, and it's just one of those products that I want to draw attention to just because of the scarcity of it, the ability I think that you have to actually crack this set and sell singles, and this will probably be the last time you can get it for this price. So just thought I'd call attention to this particular product. So next on my list is going to be the Martian Machines Collector Booster, and this one, I believe there's not serialized cards in this. However, I was very surprised to see how much these are going for. We're up into the 230s as well, and this can still be had. You can see that recently some have sold for like 220s, but it is starting to only a few weeks ago 200s, but we're definitely trending in the 220s, and now I would even say in the 230s that there isn't anything that's even available under 231. A few of them like that are under shipping if you were to buy multiples, but even that one's gone. So you're looking at 235 is the lowest one. In the last 3 months was 90 which were sold, but this is what surprised me. There's only 57 of these on the market on TCG Player, and this is a set that is just snuck up on us. There are so many legendary cards in this. There are so many synergistic cards in this. This was just the product that came out with, I believe, Lord of the Rings, right? This was the set that came out at the exact same time, and it was just overshadowed, and it had the Martian Machines Aftermath that gave a bad taste. People are still buying new Phyrexia and the oil slicks and everything, and it just was so outshadowed by all the other shiny things that were going on during this time period, where it was like, Martian Machines just was very lackluster. However, if you look at the contents of this set, there are a lot of collectible cards in this set. There are a lot of cards that we'll see play a long time in Commander, and there are a lot of cards that actually see play in Standard from this set, and they've just been sneaking up. And you can see this from the collector booster that very few left. The price has increased substantially in the last month. And if you are looking to get into this product, I think this is the last time that you're going to be able to get in the low 200s for this. So again, this can be had for 200 at this distribution level. And last but not least, I want to bring attention to Lord of the Rings Commander set. For the same reason that I talked about with the set boosters, this did get a restock, and that's why you see this crash. If we go to the 6-month price, it got all the way up to the 250s. We're back down to the 200s. I can buy these at 185 at distribution level. So again, there's decent spread between the lowest one here at 210. So if you are interested in Lord of the Rings, this is a set that gets reprinted, and you think it's going to crash, and then it recovers. And so you can see it's had a lot of sales in the last few weeks. And so 2 are sold per day. There's only 104 left in the, and a lot of them are actually at this really low end. There's a big jump here of the recent people that have added these. Like this person has 16, but those should sell within a couple weeks. Obviously, this person might restock them. They have the same access that I do to restock them. However, I think that this could be another product that just sneaks up where people are like, Warhammer always comes to mind. Like Warhammer, this happened too. They restocked and restocked and restocked Warhammer, and then finally the market's like, enough of Warhammer. We're done. It's never going to recover. It's never going to be worth anything. And then Wizards just sneakily just didn't do another restock or another wave of it. And then now we have Warhammer Commander deck display. Wow. I could get these all day long, like 6 months ago for $145. All day long. And it was the same thing. Oh, they're just going to reprint it. They're just going to restock it. And they're selling, none sold at that crazy price. So this price right now at $320, there's none available. This is crazy. So yeah, no one's buying them. So this is where you got to do your due diligence and actually look at the sales. So there were a couple at 2. Oh no, I need to refresh this. This is the TCG Player bug. So I have to refresh this here so we actually get. Okay, never mind. They're selling. They're selling for $350. $344. And if we even go 6 months ago, you can see 6 months ago these were in the 180s. I could get them for $155. I was selling these all the time, and distributors had them, and now they're clear up to the $350s. So Lord of the Rings, I don't think you should sleep on Lord of the Rings Commander decks. I was very surprised at Ixalan Commanders. They had that reprint of Ixalan Commanders, and Ixalan Commander have bounced back. We have like Bloomburrow Commanders that are crazy right now. Bloomburrow Commander is getting a reprint, by the way. If people are interested, Bloomburrow will be getting a reprint in late December, is what I heard for it. So don't be paying crazy prices for Bloomburrow Commander. Dustmourne sold out before, like Dustmourne is gonna get a small restock, but same thing, it's probably going to require reprinting, and that probably won't happen until January or February. And so Commander is still hot for these sealed products, and so I definitely would not sleep on the Lord of the Rings. I think that I'd put the Doctor Who and the Fallout in that same category. So we have this precedent for Warhammer, and now, yeah, I mean, this product was printed and printed and printed and printed and printed again and printed again, and it did go through these big waves. If we could actually zoom back out more than a year, we could see some big waves that got this price again. Now, the question is, does Wizards print this again now that it's worth this amount of money, or do they have some left over that is just going to get another wave around Christmas? Maybe. Again, we don't know the contracts for these IPs or how long that Wizards of the Coast is willing to continue to do this, because it's like a tightrope for them they got to walk on of do we just continue to print into the demand of these things, or we try to focus on newer products and let these products become expensive. I think that Wizards of the Coast is remembering the glory years of when their master set sold out, and so instead of like reprinting their master set, they just got everyone hyped up for their next master set, because they remembered paying $500 for Modern Horizons 1, so Modern Horizons 2, we got to buy, and that led to the FOMO and then they resisted the urge to then go back and reprint, older products. And then we went through that change in most likely leadership and culture at Wizards of the Coast, where they're like, no, if there's a demand for product, let's just lean into it. And they reprinted. And I think that was actually a bad thing, because it just made the overall desire for people to want to purchase, because they'd be like Warhammer, for example. I think that why we're seeing this big, I mean, this is too quick for reasonable supply and demand. It should have probably a slower gain than what we saw there. What we saw with Warhammer was exactly what I'm talking about, where there was, it's just going to be reprinted again, and then all of a sudden they're gone. And same thing, I still sell Warhammer decks. I mean, I'm out now, and when people just come in and these casuals are willing to pay premiums for if you actually have a commander deck they've been looking for. So anyway, these are my picks. I got a little bit rambly for this video. Definitely went on way too long for this, but I hope you liked this discussion and hanging out with me. And we will try to update this like bi-weekly or at least weekly. Look for it on like a Monday of products that I think are good. And if I ever come across sales too, I'll definitely post them here on YouTube as well. If you are Patreon, I'll have a post over on Patreon for all the cool things you can buy. I hope you enjoyed this video. This has been Kevin with The Rogue Market. Thanks for watching.